Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Children's Chapel. I am so happy you're with me here today on All Saints Day. It's a super exciting day in the church. We celebrate all the saints that came before us, and it's such a beautiful day to remember them and remember their great deeds and what they did and how they model how we can act in service to God and Jesus. Now, yesterday, I think was a certain special holiday. I think it was Halloween, so I think you all probably wore some costumes, and I'd love to see them. So don't forget that today is the last day to submit your entry to the costume contest, okay? So have your parents send me a photo, and we will enter you in that contest, okay? Now, today we're gonna do some songs, and we're gonna do a story, but our story is gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna read right from the Bible because we haven't done that in a while, and I thought it'd be really good to do that. We're gonna read from the book of Matthew in the Gospel. So I think there's gonna be a lot to learn from that, and I'm really excited. So without further ado, let's sing that first song. All right, friends, so now it's time for our first song. It's gonna be I Am the Resurrection. Now, what you need to remember on this one is that there's some super fun motions. So it'll say, I am the resurrection, and then you'll clap. And then it'll say, and the life, and then you'll clap 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're gonna do that in every chorus anytime you hear that part, okay? And then we'll move down to the verses, which with the verses, you know this one, you gotta do your big opera voices, okay? And it's okay not to do them for every verse, but by the end, loud and proud on those opera voices. And then it's going to say, in the last line of all the verses, it's gonna say, if you believe, then you shall live. And what we do when we do that is we go, and if you, yes, you, then we'll go, believe, you'll go, I do, then you shall live. 2, 3, 4, groovy. All right, guys, so that's gonna be super fun. Let's get into it. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will never die. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live a new life. I have come to bring the truth to you. I have come to bring you life. And if you, yes, you believe I do, then you shall live. 2, 3, 4, groovy. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will never die. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live a new life. In my world all men shall come to know. It is love which makes the spirit grow. And if you, yes you, believe I do, then you shall live. 2, 3, 4, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will never die. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live a new life. Keep in mind the things that I have said. Remember me in the breaking of the bread. And if you, yes you, believe I do, then you shall live. Hooray! I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will never die. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live live a new life. And if you, yes, you believe, yeah, I do, then you shall live. Great job, you guys. That one was super fun. Now it's time for our Bible story for today. All right, friends, now it's time for our story. And like I said, today we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about the Bible. We're going to read a part of the gospel, which is in the New Testament. And the gospels, there's 4 of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And they tell the story of Jesus. They tell us what Jesus did in his life and about the people he knew and all kinds of things about him. And it's just really good to get that insight as to what Jesus was like and the way he talked and what his message was. And the book of Matthew is full of great readings like this. So today we're doing Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. And I think what we'll do is we'll read it all the way through. I'll read it to you all the way through. And then we'll take some time to break it down and talk about it. I hope that sounds good to y'all because I'm excited about this. So, Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." So, what does all this mean? I think it's so nice, and I think for me, what I think about it is that it's just a very reassuring sentiment or idea. What he's sharing with us, Jesus is telling us here, is that we, no matter what, really, if we act in the way that he instructed, then we are saved. We are granted access or entrance to the kingdom of heaven one day. And I think that that's just such a beautiful thing that, here we see things like, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So that means something like, on your worst day, when you're having a really tough time and you just think that you're not maybe who you want to be, that God still loves you. He's still there, and Jesus taught us that we still get access to that kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God tells us here that when we're sad, when we're really sad, when we're mourning a loss, which I don't know if you've had to do, but I have before, and it's really hard, that we can turn to God for comfort. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Meek is like not as strong, right? That's what that means. So even if you might not be the strongest or the greatest at something as you want to, we still inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. That part's interesting, right? Because we have to think about, if we are hungering and thirsting for righteousness, what does that exactly mean? It means something as much as, remember how we've talked about before that you can do things for the glory of God that aren't necessarily praying or going to church, and all those things are great. But when we are hungry and thirsty and we really, really want righteousness and we want to know God and we want to glorify him with all that we do, and we do things well, and we do them, and we use our God-given gifts, we are getting that righteousness. And sometimes it's hard to see it, but it's there, and it's true that we will be filled because of that. Filled spiritually, filled in a good way. Like when your candy bag or basket or whatever you use on Halloween is just full to the brim, that kind of filled. Now, blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Now, that's kind of the idea that, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the golden rule, right? That's really important. If we're merciful with people, if we're nice to people, we get that back, right? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. That's just something to strive for, I think, is, when we can have that kind of sense, or we know that we've been really good, and we feel that, and we're proud of it, we can see God in that sometimes, I think. I think that's a great idea. Now, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And we know we're all children of God. But here it's saying that being someone who brings peace into the world, a peacemaker, is really just showing that, I think. We'll be called the children of God, right? And that's something that we should strive for. Now, taking a little pause here. There's been a lot of tough things happening in the world lately, right? There's been some things that they're not so peaceful right now. There's a lot of people that are really upset, and a lot of people, I think, are right in being so upset right now. And sometimes it doesn't look peaceful. It looks a little scary or chaotic. And I know that maybe we don't know, or you might not know like exactly what's happening and everything, and that's okay. But you might notice that things are just different, that some people might seem a little uneasy. And I think that the people who are working to get justice right now, people who are working to ease some nerves and make people feel better and safe and happy right now, I think that those people are actively being peacemakers, right? They're helping to bring the world to a really normal and good place again. The people out there who are doing that, they are the children of God, and we should be very thankful that there's people out there who are doing great work and trying to make things peaceful. And I think that's something that a lot of people want right now, is peace. I know that when the opposite of peace in my mind is being stressed or scared or worried, and I just think that we need to be really striving to be peacemakers too in our own life when we can. Now this next part was kind of tricky. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now, we know from the Bible that when we're talking about that, they're talking about how followers of Jesus were persecuted. They were told they were wrong and sometimes punished for it because they didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God like we do. And today there's still some instances of it. There's examples, but not many people are going to persecute each other for their faith. We've come a long way, and it does happen sometimes, sadly, but I think that what this is saying to us that's really important is that the kingdom of heaven is for those who believe, and it doesn't matter if other people are trying to tell you that you're wrong for doing so. If you stand firm in your faith, that's a beautiful thing, and that's really amazing. And I think that Jesus is telling us just exactly that. So, and then there is the last part. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Now, he's telling this to his disciples, right? That's what Jesus is doing. So the people that are going out and telling people about Jesus and spreading the word of God. And I think what's important here is we know that the disciples were brave to do this. A lot of them got in trouble for doing it. And that it's a great thing that Jesus told them, God is here and he's watching out for you. And I'm here and I can tell you that directly. And for us today, that kind of message I think is really important, because I think it's telling us that we are disciples too. We're all disciples. We spread the word of God by our actions, whether we know it or not. A lot of the times we tell people about Jesus without our words, sometimes even. And I think that we should know that that's something that Jesus wanted for us to be, and that's something that God really appreciates that we are. So, thank you for letting me talk about this verse with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you thought it was interesting. And next week we'll do another story book, another Max Lucado book, I think, actually. So that'll be really great. But this week on All Saints Day, I just think it was really important to read what Jesus told to his disciples, some of whom we consider saints now. And I think that we can just learn so much from reading the Bible and the gospel, and from trying to act Christ-like in our own life. So I just want to say thank you for listening to me. And I'm excited for next week. But right now, we have another song for you. So let's go sing that song and then say our goodbyes. All right, friends, it's time for our last song. So today, we're going to do one that I really love. It is called Thy Word. I think we've done this one before, and I think y'all will like it just as much as I do. So with this one, there is not any emotions like the first song, but this song talks about how when we feel afraid, or when we're not too happy, or things aren't going the way we want to, that we can remember that the Word of God is there for us, that Jesus was an offering made for us, and so that we can rely on God in those times. And I think this song is a really pretty reminder of that. So let's sing this song and then say our goodbyes. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. When I feel afraid and think I've lost my way, still you're there right beside me. Nothing will I fear as long as you are near, and please be near me to the end. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. I will not forget your love for me, and yet my heart forever is wandering. Jesus, be my guide and hold me to your side, and I will love you to the end. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. You're the light unto my path. All right, great job, you guys. Now it's time for our goodbyes. All right, friends, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today, but I just want to say a very sincere and special thank you to all of you for being here with me today. Now, like I said, yesterday was Halloween, and I still think that we have a very exciting costume contest happening, and there's a prize for the winner. So don't forget to send myself or Liz your submission. It's just a photo of you in your costume, so have your parents send us that, okay? Now, I think that is actually going to be your challenge for the week, because I don't want you to get too much going on this week. So I want you this week to please submit those contest photos. No other challenges this week. But like I said, that is all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and singing those songs with me, because I sure did. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for coming. Bye, everybody.